games again, and the whole thing starts to change around you.
Well, that didn't happen until after 2001.
After 2001, I mean,
Right.
after 2001, here comes Gianni. You lose 2001 in Arizona, we know that. Do you have anything about that series you want to remember? That was a rough series.
It was the greatest series I've ever been a part of. We lost it, but the emotion of that series. With
Well, the home runs at home.
And with the 9/11.
Right.
With the home runs at home, which was really freaky.
Yeah.
You know, the first game, Clemens wins game 3 for us. And then, you know, Tino hits the home run in game 4, and then Brocious hits the home run in game 5. Jeter hits the home run in game 4 to win it, and it was Soriano gets the base hit to win game 5. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And then we went over there, and evidently they were calling Andy Pettit's pitches because they waffled him over there.
And then you got a one-run lead with Rivera on, pitching to the bottom of the lineup in the bottom of the ninth inning.
Well, before that, because I always had a habit, I go in the clubhouse and, you know, just to walk around in between innings. And I go up there at about the 6th or 7th inning, and George says, "What do you think?" You know, and I usually had said, you know, "We'll be all right." I said, "George, I don't know." I mean, our offense was feeble,
Yes.
at best, and I remember Zim and I, and he probably was right, although I wasn't going to do it at the time, when we pinched hit and it was the 8th inning. He says, "Who are you going to bring in?" I said, "Mendoza," because it was tie score. He says, "You got to bring in Mariano." I said, "No." I said, "I got to bring Mendoza until we get a lead, and then who am I going to bring in with a lead then?" So we were arguing. I said, "The only way I'm going to bring in Mariano," I said, "is if Soriano hit," and just like that, and he hits the home run off Schilling, and we're ahead. And that was an easy decision. That you know, the 8th
Struck
inning,
out the side, the 8th inning.
He went through the heart of the order.
Struck them all out.
Yeah, and then the 9th inning, you know, Mark Gray starts with the base hit.
The bunt.
Well, the bunt, and he threw to second, and I still to this day believe, because Jeter had so many injuries, and he reached, and I think he could have reached more if the shoulder wasn't bothering him. He won't admit to it to this day. He won't say anything. And then I went out to the mound, and I said, "Guys, just let's get one out. Let's just get one out. I'm not worried about Mariano pitching, you know, with second and third. Let's get an out." So Mariano again became very aggressive, got off the mound, threw the third base to Brocious, and Brocious surprisingly just come off the bag, because if he throws to first base, he gets a double play.
Yep.
But you know, that's the way it goes. It was a great series and very emotional. But the toughest part for me was saying goodbye to all those guys afterwards, because you know, Paul was, you know, retiring, and Brocious was retiring, and you know, Tino wanted to stay another year, but you know, then we brought in Jason.
And then came a lot of change in the lineup and roster, and some good, some bad. Bad like Sheffield, good like Metzewick. I mean, they were good and bad. Bad like Lofton, you know, other good guys. But the Red Sox series, Zim's gone, 04. This is the tough one. What do you remember back about
Well,
that series?
Zim was he was there in 04.
No, he was gone. He left after 03.
Did he?
Yeah, he wasn't there in the Red Sox series. He wasn't there. That, you know, that's his first year.
I remember.
So 04, well, what do you think about when you think about the you win game 3, 19
I thought the Red Sox were better than we were
going into the series.
going into the series. You know, we won the first game, second game, then the third game. The guy who worried me was Gordon, because he was just very jumpy. And I remember we had that big blowout in game 3, and I brought him in just to try to get him sort of settled down to pitch the last inning. And then game 4, I remember telling Mel, and I thought it was Zim there, but I guess not. But I told Mel, I said, I have a 1-run lead in the 8th inning. I said, I got to bring Mariano. I want to win this game. I don't want 3 games to none. I don't care about that. I need to win this game. And he comes in again. He goes through the heart of the order. Because my feeling was, you know, closer fine, but if the heart of the order is up in the 8th, that's a save inning for him. So he came in and got him out 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. And
A walk in the ninth.
I kicked myself because I had was going to tell Mel, just tell Mo, don't get too fancy. Just go ahead and go after him. But the last time he had faced Millar, he struck him out at home. And really, I think he struck him out in 3 or 4 pitches, so I didn't say anything. And then he tried to be real careful because, you know, pitching in Fenway and pitching in Yankee Stadium, 2 different places. So he tried to be careful with Millar because he certainly was a home run threat, and he wound up walking him.
You knew, Joe, you go into Game 5. Now you're up 3-1, and everyone thinks the series is over, obviously still. But you know that you have pitching problems waiting for you if you get through this Game 5, where you don't have a whole lot of pitching left, and they do. They got their pitchers lined up, you don't. Game 5 is a game that I think people overlook in this series because the Yankees still had a lead. They had a chance for A-Rod to extend the lead. He doesn't. And that game falls apart with Gordon. And then you put Mariano in a tough spot.
Yeah, well, at that point, as you say, I remember, I think Cairo doubled, and I bunted with Jeter to get Cairo to third base, and then A-Rod struck out. And then there was another play where Matsui, 3-2 line drive, and Trot Nixon made a diving catch in right field with the bases loaded. You know, when he made that catch, I said, I don't like that. I mean, I don't like that feeling. But I brought Gordon in with a 2-run lead in the 8th inning.
And Gordon was terrible.
And he just stumbled all over the place, and I just was desperate. I brought in Mo, you know, just hoping we could stop the bleeding at that point in time.
Game 6 is Schilling with we all know, with his dramatics against Leva, and then Game 7.
And you know, and we lose that game. Bellhorn is a 3-run opposite field home run office at Yankee Stadium.
I mean, it was like karma, but now Game 7 there was a lot of debate. I'll let you go ahead about who was going to pitch, how they were going to pitch, who should have pitched. How about Game 7 and all your pitching situations?
Well, I had 3 choices, I thought. I had Duque, who was very hesitant because he just didn't feel physically that he could do it. I had Vasquez, or I had Kevin Brown. I remember going into the lunchroom, a lot of the players were around, and I just sat there with Kevin Brown, and I know he certainly didn't have a good stay here, but the one thing he did, he took the ball. You know, I said, I don't need somebody to try out there, I need somebody to do it tomorrow. And he looked at me and he says, I'm ready to do that. And Vasquez, to me, I thought he had lost a lot of confidence at that point, so I didn't go for him. And, we got our ass kicked. He just didn't pitch well, and Vasquez came out of the bullpen, didn't pitch well, and when you say you have a 3-0 lead or a 3-1 lead, momentum, that's why I always felt it was necessary to win the game right now. Let's not say we only need to win 1 out of the next 3 games, because that's not the way you think, because you can just see, you've seen how often it's happened. We did it in 2001 to Oakland. We lost the first 2 games at home in a 5-game series, and then went out to Oakland, and that was
the flip.
Mike Messina and the flip play for Jeter. We won 1-0, and then we beat them the next game, and that's the game I remember Game 5. I said to Roger, I said, I don't need a hero out there. I need somebody to win, because he had some back or hamstring issues, and he went out and pitched a good 5 innings for us that night.
Now you're at that point, you've been a manager longer than anybody could ever conceive a Yankee manager lasting. You've been in the playoffs every year. You've been in the World Series 6 years. You've won 4 World Series. And those last couple of years, although you made the playoffs every year, they were grinding years. Players getting old, players leaving, a lot of issues. And then you finally depart. What do you want to say about how that unfolded?
Well, to me, because of being in the World Series as often as we were in the World Series, and I found myself in spring training, when you're with the Yankees guys, it's not good enough to get to the World Series, you've got to win the World Series. And You know, Donnie Mattingly and I, when he came on as a coach, we talked about that. And I remember the one spring I started saying, guys,